So I'm a Russian bot or in the thrall of the Russians because I know Hillary is corrupt and I want the details of it, or I know Obama's corrupt and I want the details of it, or that we're concerned that the FBI has been corrupted and we want the details of it. I want to talk about this ongoing massive scandal of all the king's horses and all the king's men, meaning every government agency you can practically speak of, from executive branch to the Senate to the House, abusing their powers, abusing their offices to target American citizens with censorship by intimidating, enforcing, and requiring Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, to take our stuff down. That's been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. There ought to be criminal investigations and prosecutions right now. But more is coming out. We just had information coming out that Adam Schiff sought to remove the material of Paul Sperry, and they wanted a restriction of searches by Twitter users of anything related essentially to their shady impeachment effort. And it's being reconfirmed today that they kept on pushing and pushing and pushing for more restrictions out of Adam Schiff's offices. One of the issues around these Twitter files is that you had the Pfizer board of directors member, Scott Gottlieb, trying to censor stuff that was adverse to the vaccine agenda. Isn't that outrageous? And you also had information showing, in addition to COVID, going back to the Russia smears, you had Democrats in Congress, Senators Blumenthal and Feinstein, and I think there may have been a third senator. I'm sorry I'm forgetting his name because I would yell about him or her if I could remember, telling Twitter that this stop. What was the hashtag they were release the memo. Release the memo hashtag that I was using. I'm sure we got some tweets we can show them where I was using release the memo hashtag. Congressmen were using, and the memo was the famous Nunes memo that was, if released in full, and when it was released largely in full, showed that the FISA process, the FISA warrant process, the secret spy warrant process was abused for political purposes to target Trump and his team. And Hillary was behind it. And so rather than deal with that reality, showing this outrageous and some of the worst corruption in American history, these Democrat senators and their media allies were suggesting those who wanted the truth to come out were Russian bots. And Twitter saw that that was not true, and they did nothing. And in fact, some of these other materials show, Schiff kept on pushing that anyone who was objecting to him was so-called QAnon, that I still don't know what that is. It's just the latest term for anyone who disagrees with the left. And they wanted Twitter to shut it down. And Twitter said, oh, we don't do that. Well, they kind of did do that. They started throttling the reach of some of the accounts that Schiff and others were complaining about. So there was evidence that the Democrats, Hillary Clinton, and the Obama gang were all knowingly lying about tying Trump to Russia and Trump supporters to Russia. And it was about to come out, so rather than just deal with that as public officials, they abused their offices to try to suppress and smear Americans as agents of a foreign power. People like me. So I'm a Russian bot or in the thrall of the Russians because I know Hillary is corrupt and I want the details of it, or I know Obama's corrupt and I want the details of it, or that we're concerned that the FBI has been corrupted and we want the details of it. How un-American that is to target Americans with these smears to protect yourself from the consequences, legal, criminal, or political, of your misconduct. These Twitter files are astonishing. And if I were the Republicans in the House, I would be looking to severely restrict the ability of any executive branch agency to communicate with anyone about censoring Americans. I would find out who was behind it and have them removed from their position through budgetary maneuvers. There's something, as I discussed last week, called the Holman Rule, where they can defund a position or a whole program. There's a debt ceiling fight. Maybe this could be part of the debt ceiling fight. You get your debt ceiling if you stop destroying the civil liberties of tens of millions of Americans through a federally inspired censorship program. We can't wait 2 years to stop the censorship, Republicans. Now, Judicial Watch has a case already over censorship by the California government of Judicial Watch. They went to YouTube, got a video taken down. We also know they were getting tweets taken down of other citizens. And now we see the federal government doing some of the same thing. I know Judicial Watch is targeted in these Twitter files. I mean, the Twitter files has disclosed that Twitter was targeting us with improper censorship. So who knows, maybe more lawsuits are forthcoming. But that's only civil. And when you knowingly abuse your office to suppress the civil rights of a citizen, there's a criminal liability as well, and that ought to be pursued. So I encourage you to do two things. In addition to watching this video, which is one shortcut, keep track of the Twitter files and demand that your members of Congress, both in the Senate and otherwise, I know the Senate is controlled by the party that was pushing the censorship, but that they pursue these issues forthright, in a swift manner, because we can't wait for our freedom, right? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.